This is a longer, uninterrupted transmission, one that invites you to settle deeply without rushing. If you can, give yourself the full time to journey through it, as it is meant to be experienced in one sitting. When you wake up in the body of another being, a field guide for identity shift experiences, dream crossings, and the ethics of expanded empathy. Opening transmission. There are moments on the path that feel impossible to describe to anyone who has not tasted them. You open your eyes, or think you do, and the edges of your familiar life are gone. You are seeing through another face, moving with other hands, hearing with other ears, feeling the weight of a different skeleton, a different breath, a different history pulsing under your skin. Sometimes it happens in a dream that is more real than morning, sometimes in meditation when all boundaries loosen, sometimes in that thin silver hour between sleep and waking when the veil is barely a gauze. You may find yourself in the body of an animal, a person you love, a complete stranger, or even a presence that is more archetype than individual. It can be breathtaking, beautiful, healing, and it can also be disorienting, frightening, destabilizing if not understood and integrated with care. This transmission is a gentle, thorough guide for those who have known this crossing and for those who may one day find themselves there. We will name the common gateways, map the inner signatures, offer immediate protocols to stay safe and oriented, and show how to harvest compassion, insight, and strength from what can otherwise become confusion. We will keep language simple and precise, honoring the mystery while remaining credible and clear. All claims about measurable science will be carefully framed as parallels or possibilities. All subtle descriptions will be offered as contemplative maps rather than rigid rules. The aim is not to chase unusual experience. The aim is to deepen presence, kindness, and responsibility whenever consciousness expands beyond its usual edges. What this experience actually is and is not. Waking up in the body of another being is an experience of identity shift, not proof of ownership or control. It may arise as a vivid dream, a lucid dream, an out-of-body style perception, a deep meditation absorption, a hypnopompic or hypnagogic event near sleep, or a crisis response in which the mind temporarily relocates perspective to cope with intensity. It feels first person, not like watching a film but like being in it. Sensations seem immediate, limbs respond, emotions surge that are not your usual. Memories may be present but feel borrowed or foggy. This is not a game, not a party trick, not something to show off. It is also not a requirement for awakening. Many mature practitioners never have it and miss nothing essential. If it does happen, it can be held as a training in empathy and non-attachment, an invitation to see how fluid the sense of I really is, and a reminder that consciousness is larger than any single biography. 2 common doorways where crossing occurs. Many report this experience near certain thresholds, light sleep turning into wakefulness, deep meditation when the body schema is quiet, fever dreams, anesthesia emergence, near-death and shock events, moments of strong grief or love when attention locks onto another, extended retreats with continuous silence, an intentional lucid dream practice when identity becomes pliable. Digital and virtual environments can also nudge the brain into unusual body perceptions. Immersive headsets, synchronized tactile cues, and full presence roleplay can soften the usual boundaries. None of these doorways guarantee anything. They are simply conditions in which the mind's map of self becomes flexible. If you do not wish to enter such states, you can reduce doorway conditions by keeping regular sleep, limiting strong sensory deprivation when emotionally fragile, and favoring grounded practices like mindful walking and steady breath awareness. 3 distinguishing among states so you know where you are. Clarity begins with naming. A dream crossing often includes shifting scenes and symbolic logic, yet the felt sense of inhabiting another body remains steady for a span of moments. A lucid dream crossing includes the knowledge that you are dreaming while the inhabitation unfolds. This allows intentional compassion and careful experimentation without panic. A meditation absorption crossing tends to be quieter, less visual, more about inhabiting another's posture, breath rhythm, and mood tone, as if your nervous system has attuned to theirs. An out-of-body style crossing may include seeing your own body elsewhere while feeling located in another. This can be unnerving and needs gentle grounding before you move on. A dissociative response under stress can resemble crossing but feels numb or fragmented rather than alive and connected. The priority here is safety, rest, and professional support if needed. The key difference is the quality of coherence. Crossings that are meaningful feel alive, compassionate, and steady enough to observe. Crossings that are symptoms feel scattered, frightening, and leave you depleted. Treat the latter as a sign to slow down and seek care. 4. The inner signatures that tell you it's happening. Several sensory markers show up again and again when identity shifts. A sudden rewrite of body size and weight. Your center of gravity moves, gait changes, reach distance is wrong. Foreign textures of breath, shallow and rapid, or long and oceanic, different than your habit. Novel sensory priorities. Animals may reveal smell or sound as dominant. Different species feel time as pulses rather than lines. Different people feel the world through anticipation or memory far more than through raw sensation. Emotional hue that is not your baseline. A steady courage. A grief that has its own weather. A tenderness that isn't performative. A voice tone in the mind that does not match your inner narrator. Words may appear with rhythms you never use. The moment you notice 2 or more of these together, the crossing is likely in progress. This is your cue to shift into careful presence, rather than startle or grab control. 5. The immediate orientation protocol. When you realize you are in another body, when the realization dawns, do 4 things in order, gently and without drama. Anchor to breath without changing it. Simply feel the natural inhale and exhale as they already are. Name the perspective softly, present, aware, kind. Keep it simple. Sense gravity through the new feet, spine, or body axis. Weight is your friend. Feel the contact with floor or ground or seat. Offer goodwill toward the being you are inhabiting. Silently bless. May you be safe. May you be held. May this visit serve your highest good. These steps stabilize you without exerting control. They also set an ethical tone that protects both of you. If at any moment fear spikes, return to gravity, then to breath, then reopen goodwill. Repeat until the scene calms or shifts. 6. Ethics and boundaries in identity shift states. Treat every crossing as a sacred guest visit. Never a takeover. Do not attempt to steer choices, extract secrets, or satisfy curiosity. Do not test power. Do not trespass. Stay with sensation, kindness, and witnessing. If words arise internally, let them be blessings rather than directives. If you sense distress in the other, your first and often only offering is calm presence, not manipulation. If the crossing involves a living person you know, you owe them privacy. Integration later should focus on what you learned about compassion, not on details about their life. If it involves a deceased relative or an archetypal presence, the same care applies. Honor rather than interrogate. When in doubt, choose less. Choose softer. Choose to leave things as you found them. 7. A simple map of how this might be possible without making wild claims. Think of identity as a braided rope of sensations, memories, posture habits, breath rhythms, emotions, and stories. Most days the braid is tight and feels like me. Under certain conditions, parts of the braid loosen. Attention can attune to another braid nearby in space, in memory, or in imagination. The nervous system is built for attunement. It constantly mirrors and syncs with others to learn and to love. When attunement becomes deep and steady, it can feel like you are not just mirroring but inhabiting. This may be a profound form of empathy, dream-level simulation, or something subtler about consciousness we do not yet measure. Holding the mystery with humility keeps us honest. Practical benefits do not depend on proving the mechanism. Presence, compassion, and restraint remain the wise way regardless of theory. 8. Scientific parallels that illuminate without over-promising. Research has shown that the sense of owning a body can be influenced by multisensory cues. When what you see, feel, and hear are synchronized, the brain can temporarily attribute mindness to a different limb or even a different viewpoint. Experiments with synchronized stroking of a visible fake hand can create a feeling that the fake hand is yours. Full-body versions in immersive setups can shift the felt location of self. Stimulation near parts of the brain that integrate vision, touch, and balance can alter where we feel located in space. These do not prove that one literally occupies another person or animal, but they do confirm that body ownership and perspective are more flexible than we usually assume. Use these parallels as supportive metaphors, not as certainties. The subjective richness of your crossing remains the primary data. Own what you experienced while staying cautious about claims. This keeps your practice credible and kind. 9. How to prepare if you intentionally explore this terrain. Preparation is mostly about steadiness, not techniques to force entry. Keep sleep regular. Cultivate a nightly wind down free of heavy stimulation. Journal before bed to clear the mind. Set a simple intention such as, if my awareness shifts, let it serve compassion and learning. Practice gentle body scans. Learn to notice posture, weight, and breath without trying to fix them. This makes you skillful at orienting anywhere. On retreat or during deep practice, keep daily grounding. Walk slowly, eat mindfully, speak less, touch natural surfaces. Avoid long stretches of total sensory deprivation if you feel fragile. Treat substances with caution. What you seek is clarity, not spectacle. Share your intentions with a trusted mentor or friend so that integration has a witness. Silence inside does not mean isolation outside. 10. Working with animal bodies. If that is where you land, animals often teach presence without commentary. They feel the world as textures of scent, sound, motion, and temperature. Time is pulses of now, punctuated by instinct and rest. If you wake inside an animal, reduce language, tune to rhythm, listen to the horizon rather than to thoughts. Notice how attention widens and narrows. Let your goodwill be simple and physical. Relax the imaginary jaw, soften the belly. Feel paws, hooves, or wings as weight and air rather than as a story. Do not try to steer. Let the scene move you. When you return, carry back the gift of nonverbal awareness. It will deepen your human listening and your respect for life. 11. Working with other humans while honoring privacy and consent. If the crossing brings you into a stranger or a loved one, imagine your presence as a quiet guest on the back porch of their awareness. You are there to learn kindness, nothing more. Let the breath you feel in them be the metronome of your care. Imagine a soft halo of safety around them. Avoid forming opinions or judgments about their choices. If insights arrive that could be invasive, do not act on them. Do not confront. Keep what you learned as fuel to be more compassionate in daily life. If the crossing concerns someone you are responsible for, Like a child or an elder in your care, let the experience refine your sensitivity to their needs without turning into surveillance. Love is not control. Love is attunement plus respect. 12. A gentle practice for stabilizing in the midst of a crossing. When you realize you are inside another body, try the 3-point triangle of presence. Point 1 is breath as it is. Let awareness ride the inhale and exhale without changing tempo. Point 2 is gravity. Locate the places where weight meets surface. Feet, seat, spine. Return here whenever the mind pulls you into analysis. Point 3 is goodwill. Silently radiate simple blessings, safety, ease, clarity. Let them bathe the shared field rather than target any one thought. Move among the 3 points slowly, like tracing the edges of a triangle with your fingertip. This is enough. No secret technique needed, just steadiness and care. 13. Orienting questions that help you learn without intrusion. If the state is stable and you feel safe, you may ask 3 quiet questions within yourself. They are not to extract information, but to understand patterns that can improve your life and service. What does movement feel like from here? What does safety feel like from here? What does love feel like from here? Let answers arrive as sensations, gestures, and moods rather than words. When they do come as words, receive them like rain rather than like commands. These questions train empathy and dissolve self-centered habits. 14. Signs you are pushing too far and how to return. If the scene begins to fragment, if fear rises sharply, if you feel compulsion to control or to pry, if nausea or dizziness appears, if you sense the other's distress increasing, these are stop signs. To return, thank the being, feel gravity, wiggle the fingers and toes of your own physical body if you can, open and close the jaw. Bring awareness to the room you are actually in. Name 5 ordinary objects, drink water if available, step outside and look at the horizon. If distress persists after returning, seek support. Speak with a grounded friend or mentor. If you have a history of dissociation or trauma, prioritize professional care and proceed very slowly with any identity-flexing practices. Your health matters more than exploration. 15. Making meaning without grasping at certainty. After a crossing, meaning will want to rush in. The mind may claim you have discovered a mission, a power, or a secret path. Be gentle with that impulse. Instead, write what happened in plain terms, what you felt, what stabilized you, what you learned about kindness, what you want to repair in your own life because of it. If the experience brought insight about someone you love, let it make you more patient and present, not more controlling. If it brought you into an animal or an archetypal form, let it grow your reverence for life and for the shared field all beings occupy, meaning that endures always makes you humbler, softer, and more available to serve. 16. A nightly integration ritual to harvest the gifts. Before sleep, sit quietly for a few minutes. Breathe naturally. Remember any crossing you have known. Offer thanks for the lessons. Then place a gentle boundary for the night. Say inwardly, if awareness shifts tonight, let it serve compassion, wisdom, and rest. If not, let sleep be simple and deep. Place one hand on the heart and one on the belly for 20 or 30 slow breaths. Feel warmth and weight. Release the day. Go to bed without screens. In the morning, write a page in a notebook you keep for this purpose. Do not dramatize. Do not minimize. Record the facts, the feels, the lessons. Close the notebook. Step into your day with extra presence during the first hour. This protects you from getting lost in analysis while still honoring the message. 17. A partner practice for safe, grounded empathy training. If you wish to explore shared presence with another person in a grounded way, try a simple partner practice. It is not a crossing, but it cultivates the same muscles of attention and kindness. Sit comfortably facing each other. Set a clear window of time like 10 minutes. Agree that there will be no advice or fixing, just presence. Close your eyes and sense your own breath for a minute. Open them and rest your gaze gently on the other's face without staring. Notice your impulse to interpret, soften it. Now imagine that your breath and the other's breath are two tides on one shore, just that. If strong feeling arises, keep your breath and gravity steady. After the timer ends, each person shares one sentence beginning with, "While I sat with you, I noticed," then thank each other. End with 3 slow breaths together. This practice strengthens attunement without blurring boundaries. It also teaches that closeness does not require merging. Respectful nearness is enough. 18. Bringing the lessons into daily life where they matter most. The real test of extraordinary states is how you walk in ordinary hours. If you have crossed into another body, practice listening more deeply to people in line at the store, to your children, to elders, to strangers who move through your day unseen. Ask quietly in your heart, what does love feel like from there? Then behave accordingly. Let someone merge into your lane with ease. Soften your voice when a friend is tired. Pause before replying to a difficult message. Choose repair over being right. Small acts of grace show that your experience made you more human. This is the sign that the crossing served its true purpose. Mystical reflection. What if the sense of I is a traveler rather than a house? What if it can step into any doorway for a moment, learn something tender, and then come home wiser? What if the deepest power is not to extend control into other lives, but to extend care into any life that appears in your awareness? When you wake in another body, the universe lends you its eyes to practice kindness from a new angle. Do not squander the loan. Return it with gratitude, humility, and better hands. If this transmission helped you name an experience you have held quietly for years, if it steadied you, if it reminded you that unusual states are invitations into compassion rather than into ego stories, please consider supporting this work by subscribing and sharing it with those who would benefit. Your presence here nourishes a community of sincere seekers who value clarity, depth, and responsibility. If you wish to go further, become a channel member to sustain these offerings. Your support keeps the lights on while we keep the teachings honest and gentle. Above all, take what serves and live it softly. Be the kindness you needed when you first woke in a strange body and did not know where to place your heart. Next episode preview, the sound your subtle body makes when you shift states. We will listen for the quiet signatures that accompany crossings and transitions. The hum behind the ears, the change in inner pressure, the feeling of air turning to silk along the nose bridge, the soft click of attention as it settles into a new posture. We will map these sounds and textures without superstition, learning how to use them as orientation beacons so you can move between everyday focus, deep meditation, and dream lucidity with calm precision. We will explore how to hear the difference between strain and surrender, and how a single note of inner stillness can retune an entire day.